All right. Welcome back to the Malapert Smark podcast. Thank you to all out there in internet land, whoever may be out there listening. Who the hell knows? I'm always curious myself. But thank you for listening. All right, so we're at episode 155. We've been doing this for 2 years straight. Okay, our 2-year anniversary was last week's show, and I have been so run ragged with just preparing wrestling shows that I didn't even realize it was our 2-year anniversary. So that's crazy. 2 years we've been doing this, 2 years straight, every week, weekly show, just like, Monday Night Raw or something. I can't say it's been easy. I am the Malapert Smark, by the way. My name is Kahan. I've been running this podcast for 2 years, and these are my two friends, Vlad, the wrestling expert in the second box right there, and Robert, the frozen Asian. Thank you for being on the show. I'm honored to have you guys and for all the time you've spent helping me out, getting this podcast to where it is. We've come pretty far. We're at over 500 subscribers on YouTube. I never would have thought that 500 random people would say, hey, you know what? These guys are interesting enough. Let's see what they say in the future. So that's cool. But with all that being said, before I talk to you guys and introduce you guys and get into some wrestling stuff, I got a couple announcements. So let's go to our review, not our review blog post, but our blog post for episode 155. This is the official blog post. I'll put a link to it in the description if anyone wants to go through the topics with us. But here are today's topics. All right, so I got an announcement. The announcement is, all that being said, that I've been pretty exhausted from doing this show and doing my job also, and I kind of do other things. So we're going to go on hiatus. We're going to take a little vacation. We're going to cover WrestleMania, the fallout from it. So the week of WrestleMania and Raw, we will do a show that Sunday. Not the Sunday of WrestleMania, but the following Sunday. So I think that's the 27th. So that'll be our last show for about 8 weeks, and we'll reassess and see how we can continue on with the show with all our lives and still be able to do it in the future. We will do the show. We will definitely do this show. This show is great. This is a great show. Honestly, I think it's a tremendous show. I don't think anyone covers wrestling so comprehensively as we do, one way or another. Everything gets covered on this YouTube channel. And my second announcement, that being said, since we're going to go on break, and I'm pretty sure we're coming back, but who the hell knows, because sometimes things happen, people die. I could die. If I die, this show is over, right? I guess no one has the password to my YouTube channel, so no one would be able to log in. So that would be it. It would just be an unceremonious end, like whatever the last video was. That was it. So that being said, I had a hidden link all the way at the bottom, Vlad. I don't know if you guys noticed this, of this blog post where I sent you guys to let you know what we've been talking about today. And there's a hidden link all the way past our schedule for our blog post for the weeks. Here it is. Hidden.
No, did not see that
link. It was well hidden.
Very well hidden.
Yeah. So I have an announcement to make. And for this, I have the very first Malapert Smark Hall of Famer, my dog, Alora. So she is currently the only member of the Hall of Fame who is also here for this ceremony today.
Good.
And I am here to induct the second person into the Malapert Smark Hall of Fame. Here's the first person, is Alora, already here, entrant number 1, inducted on March 20th, 2024. And today, Vlad, the wrestling expert.
I was hoping it would be somebody else, but okay. Well, I'm honored. Vlad, I am honored.
How does it feel to be a Hall of Famer? That's what I want to know.
Do I get a ring, a Hall of Fame ring, or anything like that, or do I get like even like a?
Well, you're on this blog page. This is
yes. That does it. You're right. I don't need a ring. It's all good.
This is going to be an incredible blog page when we keep going, and you'll see all the people who come on it, and it'll be at the beginning was Vlad, the wrestling expert. But let's go through some of his accolades before we get a speech. So 154 straight appearances and counting. So this is a current streak. As of April 6th. Secondly, he is also a certified wrestling expert. That's another one of his accolades. And also, of course, he's a badass.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. These are also certified. But anyways, all right, Vlad. So you've been on this show every Sunday for 154 weeks, it seems,
Yes.
and that's an accomplishment, man. I mean, shit. We did something for that long. We set out to do this. When at the beginning of this, it was me and you. Like, we decided we're gonna do this. So I don't know. How do you feel about it so far? What's going on?
To quote Ric Flair, I'm almost embarrassed by the reaction I got out here with you guys. I know. If I was Flair, I'd be tearing up and crying because this is very emotional. Being put in the Hall of Fame. No, but it's I have been on every show. It's been really fun. I've enjoyed it. I'm happy to be the second inductee into the Malapert Smark Hall of Fame. It's cool. I appreciate it. I appreciate it to the ultimate Malapert Smark himself, Kahan, for putting me into this amazing Hall of Fame, which will soon have other amazing people in the future.
Yeah, dude. We will induct more people into the Malapert Smark Hall of Fame. But, I think this show, you have carried this show. You have literally been like the Cody Rhodes of this show.
I don't think
for 2 years straight, bro. Imagine like you had a worker like this, a workhorse on Raw, where you could rely on them to come out and be the man every day for 2 years. If someone was like that in WWE, where they led WWE for that guy would be a Hall of Famer, for sure, right?
Right.
So that's why I felt comfortable inducting you into the Hall of Fame, even though you are very young in your career. You're still in it. You're not done as an analyst or anything. So
no,
but you still deserve to be a Hall of Famer, even if your accolades stopped right now. So
yes, it's like Bonds was a Hall of Famer pre-steroids. So even with the steroids, you should have made it, but nonetheless. So it's one of those situations. Even if I stop today, I'm a Hall of Famer, baby.
Yeah, but you got to keep your nose clean because we got.
Oh yeah. That's what. Well, I was using the steroids as an analogy.
If we find out about the steroids, man, man, that changes everything.
Well, if you see my head grow a few sizes. If all of a sudden my body is not...
This explains all the rage I've been hearing from you.
Yes.
The steroid rage.
It's exact. Well, yes. Keep an eye out, guys. If you see that, then you might have to... Then Kaon might have to erase me from the Hall of Fame.
All right, then. We've got to move on, though. As much as I'd like to sit and, have a Hall of Fame party and stuff, we got a lot of wrestling to get to, so we're going to go run through it really quick. Just give some quick thoughts on a lot of the things that happened in the past week. We're going to do some retro stuff, too. We've been on 1996, so I'll get to that once we get there because I got some things to say about what we're doing there as well. All right, so let me go back to the top of our blog post. Sorry about that. Skip to the end. That was announcement number 2. All right, so modern AEW. Let's get started. So Dynamite, Ring of Honor, and Collision. We didn't cover any of that because we haven't done a show since then. But at this point, all those shows are already dated because AEW Dynasty just happened. So we're going to just jump straight to AEW Dynasty. If you want our thoughts on Dynamite, Ring of Honor, or Collision, and any of the build-up to Dynasty, you can click on the links in the description. I'm just going to skip that on this show. Vlad and Robert do feature on the Dynamite review. And I did the Ring of Honor and Collision stuff by myself. I just wanted to see if there was anything that we needed to know about before we went into Dynasty, and there really wasn't. So, okay, I could have just skipped them and saved my time and went to sleep. But instead, I stayed up all night doing that last night. AEW Dynasty. Okay, so I introduced Vlad. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's the Hall of Famer, Vlad. And Robert, my other wrestling analyst here, is I haven't really talked to or introduced yet, but he's the only one out of the three of us who watched AEW Dynasty in full, I guess, because you were off today. I worked. Vlad just didn't care to because AEW...
I was trying to watch The White Lotus, guys. That's way more important. I'm sorry. But continue on.
Hey, funny that you have AEW Sucks in your background, by the way, for the audio podcast listeners, because I did prepare a clip from one of your analyzations, I guess you could say, from a couple of years ago, talking about AEW, talking crap, and I didn't play it. I think I'm going to save time. I want to save the time today because we might be running late with all the things we have to get through. But yeah, so you had no interest to watch this pay-per-view, and Robert, you did. So before I jump into it, you want to just say, did you enjoy it? Did you think it was a waste of time? Or are you tired? Was it enjoyable? What's your general thoughts on it?
It was a little too long.
Yeah, that seems to be a common issue for people.
4.5 hours. I don't know about that. Most of the matches were okay, but the last two, well, especially the Kenny Omega Speedball Mike Bailey Ricochet match, that was my favorite out of the whole card. And funny thing is, I wasn't even interested. I wasn't necessarily interested in that match at all, but it was a great match regardless. So that's the one I liked the most. And the last match of the card, the main event was okay. It was pretty good too. A lot happened in that, which I guess we're about to get to right now.
Yeah, I'm going to rely on you for that because the show just ended right now. If people are listening to this in the morning or something, we are recording this on a Sunday night, so the show just ended. I didn't get to it. I read about a lot of it, except the end of it. And Vlad, I guess, is just going to comment based on the booking and what he thinks as we describe it to him. And Robert will give his full-on review. So, all right, let's jump through all this. Here is our review of AEW Dynasty. I'll probably get to watching the whole thing at some point later in the week. But 0-hour storylines we'll skip over. And storyline number 1, men's Owen Hart Cup stuff. So I guess there was 2 matches in this. So Ospreay advanced. He beat Kevin Knight, and Kyle Fletcher advanced. He beat Mark Briscoe. So I don't know. Is this something that merits a lot of comments for this, Robert? Or,
no, they were just solid matches. That's it. Nothing more than that.
Okay. All right, so we got 2 advancements there. And then MJF helps the Hurt Syndicate retain. So I guess there was a tag team match, Hurt Syndicate against the Learning Tree, who I think have been actually presenting themselves pretty decently for this feud at least. And then MJF apparently came in and helped them, right, Robert? Did he?
Yeah, towards the end, yeah.
Did Hurt Syndicate really need help from MJF to win this match? Or
I don't think so.
From what I read, they were mad that he helped. That they were annoyed at him.
They obviously they're not fans of MJF clearly, but MJF still helped them regardless. I think they would have won even without MJF's involvement.
All right, so what's that looking like though in terms of MJF joining the Hurt Syndicate? Because I guess he helped them out and they took the help. They were a little annoyed, but hey, look, he could just jump in there and join the group, I guess. They're not really going to object too much.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's heading towards he will eventually join them. I don't know, but just based on the way that it's booked, it looks like that's the direction they're going towards.
Vlad, what do you think of that?
Not sure. Again, I'm still so unsure about this. I mean, I'm happy he's working with the Hurt Syndicate. I like that in theory. I just don't know where it all goes. Or
kind of weird that he would jump in there and help them against the Learning Tree. Like he doesn't have faith in them to beat Brian Keith and beat Big Bill. I mean, Big Bill has been pretty beast though lately. I mean, he's carrying this group. You got to say. Big Bill, he looks taller than everybody too, so he looks pretty badass.
Oh yeah, he is taller than
he is taller than everyone. But I don't know. I mean, I want to say that it's going to end up going well, but I just have some doubts, despite the fact that I like MJF working with this group. But we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out.
All right, then let's move on to the next one. Let's see, Women's Owen Hart Cup. So Mercedes, I guess they only had one match, and Mercedes beat Julia Hart. Is apparently what happened. They had a match, Mercedes versus Julia, and Athena was watching from the back, so she didn't have a match today. She was on the pre-show. She had an interview on the pre-show. Okay, do you want to just give a thumbs up, thumbs down for this match?
I'll give this a thumbs up. The only comment I'll make is specifically about Julia Hart. I think in the past I've criticized her work, but I think she got better and she's projecting more confidence in the ring. So she's definitely improved since I don't know. It was the last time I seen her on a pay-per-view, but she's improved a lot over the past couple of years, in my opinion. So That's all I'll say about that.
All right. Next one is. Oh, okay, so this was a betrayal, I guess you could call it. Rated FTR lost to Death Riders. There wasn't really any cheating either. It's not like Death Riders had to bring Marina and Mox to win. There was some kind of miscommunication, I guess. Rated FTR didn't work well together, and then they took the loss. And then at the end, Dax turned on Cope, and then Cash joined in. Was what happened. Cash was apprehensive, but then he just did it anyways. He joined in. All right then. Thoughts about this? This was not a storyline that we really covered much on our show. It kept getting skipped over. It didn't really catch on as one of the top storylines for us to really take the time to actually do it on this show. We reviewed it on our blogs and stuff. But okay, so Death Riders retain, so they're still the trios champions. And then Rated FTR failed. And then I guess we were all wondering, was this going to turn into a breakup of FTR or a betrayal of Cope? It had to be one or the other, basically. And I think everyone kind of knew it was headed in this direction, like a heel turn for FTR. I think it's a good idea. I think it's an excellent idea because they've been stale as fuck. So let's see if they actually do something with them as heels. I don't think any of you object to them turning heel on like this. Do you?
No.
All right, cool. Robert, so I guess a rating for this whole thing, since you're the only one who watched it.
Maybe I'll give this a 1. It was a little bit of a surprise. I thought this was headed towards Dax versus Cash feud, just between the two of them.
Really?
I didn't think they would. I didn't think that they would both turn on Cope. So
I would have been surprised if that happened, honestly. But
okay.
Okay, hold on one second. Oh shoot, are we on the right date? Yes. Okay, I'm sorry. I was looking at the title of our show today, March 31 through April 6th. Okay, that looks good. Sorry about that, guys. Moving along. Toni Storm rolls up Megan Bayne, as it would seem. So, any thoughts about this match?
Megan Bayne dominated the majority of this match, and Toni Storm won, but it looked kind of like a fluke victory because it was a roll up. She looked like she was about to lose, and she got a lucky roll. So I don't think this is this is the end of the feud. I think this will continue just based on how that ended.
Okay, interesting. Mm-hmm. Did you see Megan Bayne becoming champion, the world champion?
She can be. She definitely has the look for it. But I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard a promo from her. I don't know unless she does some in Collision.
I think there was one on Collision a couple of weeks ago where they had a video package with her talking. But yeah, that is true.
All right, so I didn't watch that.
It would be weird to make her. I mean, they've had champions in the past who haven't talked before, right, Vlad? Goldberg.
There have been champions in the past that are not the best on the mic. I think she just doesn't have any experience in the mic. I think, as far as I don't know a lot about her history. There's been some conflicting reports about where she started, when she started, how long she's been in wrestling. I don't really know, but she has a great look. She's definitely going to be a world champion in that company at some point. They were pushing her through the roof, having beat everybody, and I guess they try to protect her here. I didn't see the match, obviously, but I'm guessing they try to protect her so make it seem like Toni won on a fluke. She rolled her up. I'm not really a big fan of the roll-up victories, to be honest. I think it's kind of cheap, but it happens from time to time. And so, all right, let's see where it goes.
All right, moving along. We gotta get through this pay-per-view. Here's our favorite, the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho against Bandito. So I guess he cheated. He used a baseball bat, and then the refs restarted the match because there was a lot on the line, right? The guy's masks, for fuck's sake. So when it's something like that, they gotta have some justice here, right? So Bandito wins the Ring of Honor world title. That's interesting. That's interesting for me as a guy who reviews Ring of Honor. At least we'll have a guy on the show that might show up. But all right, any thoughts on what happened here with this little
Okay.
angle?
Yeah, I'm gonna give this a -1,
Interesting.
one thumb down.
Thumbs
Okay,
down,
let me
down.
tell you what really happened. Yes, Chris Jericho cheated, but what happened was that Bandito's mother and I think sister was in the audience in the front row, and the mother was begging. What's her name? What's the female ref
Aubrey
name?
Edwards.
Aubrey Edwards. She begged her to check where because she saw, obviously everybody saw that Jericho was using a bat and he was hiding it on the steel steps. So she told Audrey about that Jericho used the bat and he hit it on the steel steps, and so Aubrey Edwards allowed her to walk her to where the bat was hidden, and she found it and then made the decision to restart the match. But I don't know, I thought that was really dumb booking because people cheat to win all the time, and just because the ref didn't initially catch it, and there's no like video replay or whatever, that doesn't mean they all of a sudden restart the match just because someone from the audience said, "Hey, look, he used a bat and it's hidden right there." I thought that was really dumb booking personally, so I hated it.
No, dude, it's the guy's mask is on the line. You gotta get it
okay.
right, bro.
Oh, sure. That makes everything okay. Right. Got it.
You gotta get when it's something like this, it's important. Like if it was someone's life on the line, you gotta get it right. If it's a world title belt, then who cares? But okay. Vlad, I don't think you have any comments on this, so I'm gonna move on.
No, let's move on.
That is interesting, though. I've never heard anything like that happen, where the mother takes the referee to where they hid the weapon. Like this, that's like I'm gonna watch this later, but okay.
No, maybe not exactly that, but I've heard of scenarios where the referee saw that the guy was cheating and they restarted the match or something like that. That has been done before plenty of times, but maybe not specifically the guy's mother. Okay, but all right.
All right, and then the TNT title match. This is something we absolutely talked nothing about on our show here on the Sunday Night Podcast. I review all this stuff from Collision and stuff on my blog by myself. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of weird that they set this match up and they had to really emphasize that they said no outside interference of all matches to emphasize that for. Has this feud had a lot of outside interference? I don't know. I haven't really felt that way. Yeah, their stables are not really heel stables. And then so that's one thing. And then another thing is no time limit. Okay. Yeah. I mean, they went from 20-minute time limit to no time limit. So okay, so Adam Cole wins, and it's his first title. Not his first title because he was Ring of Honor tag team titles with MJF, but I guess it's his first AEW title. So
first singles title.
First singles title and first AEW title. So Adam Cole, the new AEW or TNT champion, back from injury, put on a decent enough match. Any thoughts on this, Robert? Was it a good? You want to give it a rating?
And the winner is Adam Cole, baby. All right, look, I didn't know any of that build up that you mentioned because. What did they set this up in Collision, or I'm not sure because I don't remember.
Mostly.
Okay. So that's why I didn't know about any of that. So it was just a match to me. I didn't know the stipulations, but it was solid. I wasn't quite sure who was gonna go over in this match, but I still enjoyed it for what it was. I'll give this. I don't know. I mean, it could have been better, though. I'll give it a half thumbs up.
All right, cool. I'll give it some credit. Interesting. I mean, I do think it was maybe time for a TNT title change because Daniel Garcia, as much as I liked him, since he hasn't been doing the dance, it just hasn't been the same. But next one, international title is, well, that's true, man. Ever since the dance was over, It was kind of like the Acclaimed with the rapping. That shit was over. If you're not going to do what you were overdoing, then...
I'm just going to say this, that there's no scenario where Daniel Garcia is over, okay? Or at all. No scenario. He is what he is. He's like, you could find on the independent scene 1,000 Danny Garcias. There's 1,000 of them, literally.
Oh, well, come on. Daniel Garcia is a hard worker. Give it up. Give it up a little bit, bro. That was a good TNT title reign, man. He made it.
What?
He made it.
What title reign? Who cares? You don't remember anything from it. What are you talking about? I don't remember.
He had a few title defenses. He was.
My God, bro. Let me tell you, the WWE dodged a bullet when Tony Khan overpaid for this guy. They dodged a complete bullet. This guy is not going anywhere.
Oh my God! Well, there you go. Another hot take from the Hall of Famer, Vlad, the wrestling expert. Okay, international title match. The next one, Kenny Omega versus Mike Bailey, who I'm a big fan of from TNA. I saw him have a couple good matches last year. Well, his one against Moose and his one against Leon Slater in particular. But Robert, so you said this was your favorite match of the night. How high up you want to rate it?
Easily the best match of the card for me.
You loved it, or you really liked it?
I'll say I loved it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And again, I think I mentioned this to you before the show started. I wasn't even really looking forward to this match. I mean, I knew it was on the card, but it wasn't something I was excited over. I didn't even know who Mike Bailey was until a couple weeks ago when he showed up in Dynamite. Like, that was literally the first time I've seen him. So, yeah, I mean, I expected a decent match, but this ended up being pretty good. And then there was the post-match face-off between Omega and Okada. Clearly, they're building up to a potential all-in matchup.
Yeah, I heard rumors from some reason from certain podcast insiders, quote unquote, that they want to combine those two titles, the International Continental Champion. So they might.
Who really knows the difference? Except, come on, yes, combine them. Do whatever you want. Yeah, exactly.
For the audience who doesn't know, we have the picture of the current Continental Champion in the corner here at all times, because I believe it's the purest championship in wrestling with no interference. And I hope if they combine it, that the next International Continental Championship would also have the no interference rule, because that's the best rule in wrestling to me.
I want to make one quick comment, real quick, just before I forget. I don't know how the kicks from Mike Bailey. I don't know how they don't hurt in real life. Those kicks look like they should hurt you.
Yeah, I'm sure Omega and Ricochet are willing to take a couple of for real kicks to make it look good. Strong style they call it. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, last match of the night. We're running through AEW Dynasty. It just happened. Robert just saw it. He is the world title match. So I don't know anything about this because we had to start this podcast. We got to do it at 9:30. So I had to prepare and start this up. All I know is that Moxley retained, and I don't know anything about how it happened. So, Robert, if you want to describe it to us and tell us what you thought of it and how you liked it, the floor is all yours. Go ahead. Story time with Robert, baby.
Who's ready for story time with Rubber Toe, baby? All right. So a lot happened in this match, but I'll just talk about what happened at the very end. So at some point, Moxley had a steel chair and wanted to throw it at Swerve. Swerve ducked, and the steel chair hit the referee.
Oh, right? So that's a good ref bump.
Yeah, and then obviously the ref was knocked out. I forgot what happened right after that, but at some point, Hangman Adam Page came out.
No.
And then it looked like he was gonna do the buckshot lariat on Swerve, but then he hesitated. He didn't actually do it, right? Because if you remember, on Dynamite,
yes,
they had that interaction towards the end of that episode. Yeah. Or Swerve admitted that he deserved, what happened to him. So I guess, I don't know, he thought of that, and it made him hesitate. So he didn't do the buckshot lariat, and then he got attacked by, Hangman got attacked by Pac and the rest of the Death Riders after that. So when the Death Riders jumped Hangman, Samoa Joe and his crew. I don't remember what's his crew's name. The
Ops.
Ops. Okay.
What
The
hell?
Ops came
this
out
sounds
and
awesome.
helped. The Ops came out and helped.
Sounds ridiculous.
Hangman fight off the Death Riders.
Okay.
And then finally, the focus went back to Swerve versus Moxley, and then it looked like Swerve was getting the upper hand and it was about to win the match. But then the lights went out, and everybody's like, "Oh no, what's going to happen?" And then after a few seconds, the lights came back on, and the Young Bucks are back. And then they did the I don't know that move that they do, the BT trigger. They did that on Swerve. Yeah, they did that on Swerve.
What? They helped Moxley win?
And then miraculously, the ref came back into consciousness, and Moxley got the pinfall and won. So the Bucks, after a half a year of being away, came back, and I guess they're still heels. I don't know why they're helping Moxley out, but I guess we'll find out in Dynamite.
Yeah, all that considered, what's your rating on this whole storyline tonight? Then
it was still cool. I still liked it. I'll give it a 1.
You'll give it a thumbs up just because it was so wild and shocking, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, Vlad, what do you think of the Young Bucks coming back and helping the Death Riders?
Hey, can these guys come back again in another 6 months? Or can they go away and come back in another 6 months? This is what they come back to do? To keep the worst angle possibly in AEW history going? This is what they've come back to do. And somebody's going to say, well, and say, oh, they're here to make it better because now they're going to join Moxley, I guess. What the fuck? Nobody wants to see these guys, and nobody wants to see Moxley. No, I would give it a vomit if I was watching it, probably. If I watched it, I would give it a vomit.
Oh, minus 5 points. Huh?
Wait. What's the lowest? What's the lowest?
The lowest is Chris Jericho. Yeah.
I would give it Jericho level bad. Yeah, there we go.
You give it a minus 10.
I mean, if I saw it, but since I can't actually say it because I didn't see it, but from everything Robert described and everything I feel about all of these people, that's what I probably would have given it.
Oh my god! I think I'd give that all 2 thumbs down. I'm gonna watch it again and submit my rating a little later in the week before Dynamite for sure. But I'm gonna watch it just to say that I watched it. But God, I mean, just the general premise of the Young Bucks. I'm stunned that Robert's telling me this. I didn't read about this at all. I cannot believe it because the Young Bucks left because they said things were getting too hot in AEW for them because the Death Riders were running roughshod, which they really weren't even. Like, they weren't running over the show like that. So it was kind of stupid that they left like that. And then now they're back and they're going to help the Death Riders. So what the fuck? It just doesn't make good logical sense. All right, fine. That's it. That's AEW talk for the day. We usually don't talk about AEW that much, but since we had a pay-per-view that just happened, fine. We did a review on it, and we'll put it out if people want to listen to a review of AEW. Let's go to Modern Wrestling. Let's run through some WWE topics real quick. So this was probably the biggest thing from the week. Probably what we should have started the show with was the Cena and Cody stuff from Monday night. This is the 31st as we speak. And they finally got physical. They had a crazy promo battle. Lots of stuff going back and forth. Reviews on this, Kahan Fire plus 5 points.
You kept Robert's April Fool's reviews?
Well, these are Robert's April Fool's reviews because he submitted this on April 1st.
Let's say that before we even show the review, let's start off by saying this was submitted on April Fool's. At least my review was.
Robert's Raw review is a silly review. Of course, he doesn't think it was a 2 thumbs down. It was pretty damn good. I'm surprised Vlad only gave it 2 thumbs up, but. Let's see. I'll pull up some images from it, and whatever you guys can think of, whatever you guys want to comment on from the promo that you could remember, I'll give you guys some chance to speak, and I'll start with Vlad. So you go first.
Yeah, let's see. What do I remember from it? I mean, obviously they had a great back and forth. Trying to remember everything that they said. It's already been like 6 days, so I've only seen it once, so I'm trying to remember stuff that was said. Cena mentioning that Cody's like he basically stole from all the other guys that came before him, and that he's a creation of the company, and he's not really what he is. And then Cody came back stating that if anybody's a company creation, it's actually Cena.
That he didn't leave the company as well as he took it in. He didn't leave it in a good place when he left to Hollywood and all this stuff. It was good stuff back and forth.
There was a great line where, of course, Cody said that Cena was, that it was Vince that made Cena, right? Basically, they referencing to Vince. But then Cena had a great line saying that the only reason that he actually made money for people and not got money or gave. I forgot how he worded it, but basically
stole money from their kids.
From billionaire kids, yeah.
But that was Tony Khan.
Yeah,
right?
Referencing Tony Khan, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, these were amazing. This was an amazing thing. And of course, the whole thing about how Cody, I guess, used to drive Cena around as being the chauffeur was a great line, great callback. I mean, all of it was great, tremendous stuff. And then it ended in their first physical altercation that they had.
And the fact that he said the thing that brought him back was that you can't wrestle, and that's why he came back and actually finally got goaded into fighting, and then he got fucked up. Like he
missed it completely, and then he just
he's horrible. He's old. He sucks. He got crossroaded easily.
Right. Well, yeah, I agree with that. But I think for sure before WrestleMania, Cena's gonna have a moment where he really does lay into Cody. It has to happen. But anyways, yeah, this was great, tremendous. I loved everything about it.
Okay, Robert, your thoughts on this whole thing?
All right.
What is your actual rating? On
my actual review, I would have given this a fire.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that was mine too. I'm surprised Vlad at least didn't give it 3 points, but okay.
So, all right. So my thoughts. All right. So whenever there's people who are very good at promos like John Cena, CM Punk, MJF, I feel like they oftentimes don't always go as hard as they could. I feel like depending on who they're in the ring with, doing promo battles with, they kind of they fight at the same weight class as the person that they're going at, right? Mm-hmm. They don't completely overshadow whoever it is that they're in the ring with, so they hold back a bit. I'm talking about the really, really great ones like Cena, MJF, CM Punk. But when they're in the ring with someone that they know can handle it, they really go after it. And this is an example of where I think John Cena, he went for it. Like he didn't hold back I think he usually does against most opponents when he's doing promo battles. Like he tore into Cody Rhodes because he knew Cody Rhodes could take it and give it right back. And this was a fantastic battle. I loved. There were a lot of memorable lines on there. Like when Cody Rhodes said, "Between me and you, who's the one that sold out to The Rock?" That was awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
it was great. Shit. A lot of great stuff.
Good shit. Good shit.
And calling John Cena calling Cody Rhodes a chauffeur. And I liked his line about. People say that I bury bury talent. People say that I bury talent. I am talent. What I bury is mediocrity.
Yeah, that's a great
one. Really I immediately thought of Wade Barrett, the poor guy who got buried at SummerSlam. I was like, oh my god, yeah.
Well, I actually didn't think of that, but yeah, he was one of many. He was one of many.
That was what my mind went up to, personally.
And the fact that Wade was right there.
Yes, yes, that too. And I guess Wade Barrett's on my mind a lot. I think he's really cool. But another thing that Cena said was that you were just a fan who got his gimmick tattooed on his neck. I thought that was kind of a good one. There's a lot of good ones, but okay. Yeah. If anyone doesn't have anything they really need to say about this, we got to move on. We got a lot of storylines to get through. The next one from Raw, I'm sticking with Raw, is Bianca, the special referee. During the Rhea Ripley Io Sky World title match, which is the second storyline on our review blog. If anyone wants to go check out what we thought of everything, but this was ended in a double DQ. So once again, I guess me and Vlad like this. Robert just blew his mind, but that was a April Fool's rating. So
well, he's never seen a referee like Bianca before. That's what blew his mind. He's never seen anything like.
Yeah, I guess in a way this was pretty wild shit. But I'll start.
I quote unquote explained why my mind was blown on the. I wrote it down, like my description.
Oh, let's see. What did he say? Robert, the way they managed to keep this angle going, leaving us wondering if this will be a triple threat or not, is just incredible. That's the reason Robert's mind was blown from this.
Oh, I see.
Okay, well, funny joke, Robert, yes. But, no, yeah, it was obvious that this was going to be a triple threat from the freaking very beginning, so that was a sarcastic joke from Robert. But I guess I'll start with you on any thoughts other than that on this whole thing that happened, this whole fiasco with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, and how Bianca kept getting hit left and right by Rhea.
Robert. It was cool, but I just think at this point they might as well just announce it as a triple threat already. Like, enough with the this angle of trying to figure out like what the match is gonna be. It's pretty obvious it's gonna be a triple threat, so might as well just announce it at this point.
Well, I think they couldn't do that because it wouldn't have been fair to Bianca for this to be a triple threat. Because I guess because she won the Elimination Chamber, she deserved a one-on-one WrestleMania match. Okay. So that's why they didn't want to immediately make this a triple threat.
Well, okay, I mean, at least by the end of this episode, at that point they should have just enough is enough, or just make the match.
Yeah, I mean, I think by this Raw they will.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I mean, Rhea pointed at the freaking WrestleMania sign like she's gonna be there, so there's no other reason. I mean, they kind of tried to make Bianca, okay, you kind of fucked up because you got physical, you threw Rhea around, so you kind of did this to yourself. You deserve for this to be a triple threat. So anyway, she calls for the double DQ here. She calls for the bell after she gets nailed twice. She did try to let the match go a little bit after she got nailed the first time. Then finally she got frustrated enough as Rhea got pissed and then just went after everyone's I mean, Bianca and Rhea fighting looks like two Titan, freaking Marvel movie comic book people. But, okay, so then Rhea leaves everyone laying, and that's that. Yeah. What do you think,
I just want to say, it was cool. It was all right. I mean, I just thought it was a little ridiculous that Bianca took more bumps as the referee than anyone else in the match. She was flying all over the ring. It was unbelievable. She was just flipping and flopping everywhere. It was incredible.
She was taking ref bumps.
She was she has to be one of the worst referees of all time, honestly. But yeah, no. In all seriousness,
I thought it was funny because Rhea's the one who kicked her out of the ring, and then when she was pinning Io, she was pissed that Bianca wasn't, counting the three, but she's the one who kicked her out of the ring. So
yeah, she was like, "Where the hell are you? Where are you?" Like, you just kicked her out of the ring. Where do you think she's gonna be?
Anyways,
so that's it. I'll leave it at that.
For that reason, I liked it. I like this whole thing. I don't think it's that bad. So I don't.
No, it's not that. It's not that bad. But obviously, I'm gonna beat a dead horse. Obviously, it just should be Bianca versus Rhea. But okay.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna move on. This is another thing that I thought was really good.
This was amazing.
Gunther and the Uso brothers, the Usos. So this is storyline number 3 on our review blog for this past Monday's Raw. If anyone needs to go check it out. Is it storyline number 3? Oh, no, it's not. I think it's storyline number 4. I mislabeled that, but it's okay. So Gunther ties up Jey Uso to the ring and brutally massacres Jimmy. And Jey is forced to watch. So I think I have some images of this one too. Well, Vlad, you sounded like you were excited to talk about this one, so I'll start with you. Why don't you go at it with everything that happened with... Jimmy slapped freaking Gunther last week, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that, and then they set up Gunther versus Jay this week. But they had that scene at the beginning where it was kind of dramatic. Reminded me of the Bloodline stories, when they were Jay went real close to Jimmy and said, "Hey, I know you're all confident, but be careful, man." I knew that kind of foreshadowed something was going to happen. So after Gunther beats Jimmy, he lays the beating on him. Well, I think first it looked like he was going to leave, right? They had this whole long thing where Gunther left, and then they were helping Jimmy to the back, and then Gunther laid the beat down. So, all right, Vlad, what did you think of this then?
Well, it was amazing. It was great. I loved it. Gunther is such a great heel. He's just an old school, classic heel. This is a guy that would have been over in any era in wrestling. Territory days. And this is a territory angle, honestly. I personally see it as that. It was a lot of emotion here. And then when they brought in the blood was it was sensational, man. It looked unbelievable. It looked like he was getting murdered. It looked like he was murdering a guy. And then the blood all over. It was the visuals itself are amazing. Jay trying to reach out for Jimmy, like the whole. Oh my God, this was like a cinematic movie masterpiece of a scene. I felt. I loved every bit of it. I mean, it's more of a credit to Gunther, who I really love. But you got to give credit to Jay and Jimmy for really playing their role here incredibly well. I mean, I know we've both, actually all three of us have said that we don't want this match to happen. We don't want Gunther to lose. We don't want Jay to win. But for the most part, this has been one of the better angles as far as like the lead, or at least the best build-up overall, I feel, to well, I mean, yeah, Cody and, you could say about Cody and Cena as well, but I feel overall, just week to week, this has been the best. So, yeah, tremendous stuff, and I'll leave it at that.
All right, well, Robert's review here kind of seems to make a little sense, even though it was an April Fool's gimmick review, this blew his mind, but this could be a mind-blown segment.
Well,
this is pretty damn good.
Okay, my actual review would have been 2 thumbs up also.
Yes, all right.
Yeah, so,
yes.
So even though I still stand by my disappointment of Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble, right? I'm just reviewing this segment on its own. This was terrific. This was really, really good. The build up for the match has been awesome.
Yeah, all right, cool.
So despite my disappointment of Jay winning, this was great.
Yep. I agree. I was disappointed with some of the build so far, but this shot it to the moon. This is pretty good. All right, moving on. So that was Raw. A couple angles from SmackDown that we could talk about. The next one, we're sticking on WWE, is Paul Heyman, who the CM Punk favor. So this is storyline number 1 on our SmackDown review. If anyone wants to go there, there's a link in the description. We've reviewed every storyline angle on this already, but this was a really good one. I gave this a fire too because Paul Heyman conjured up the tears. I don't know how he did that. So for that, I gave this a fire. Vlad really liked it. Robert loved it, but I'm going to put some images on and let's talk about this whole thing, the favor. So I think we did mention it last week that people were getting tired of the favor, mentioning of the favor. We're like, this has to happen soon. Vlad kind of got the feeling they're going to reveal this soon, and I didn't think so, but okay, Vlad was right. So it started the show. CM Punk came out and talked, but Roman's not here yet. And even Paul Heyman came out. He's like, I need to know the favor. What the fuck is the favor? Right? So later in the show at the end, Roman comes out. Right? It's always surprising when Roman is even freaking there. And Seth comes out because he just wants to see what the favor is. He wants to be a witness to this, which he should be because he's in this triple threat match. So
correct.
Why not? Stick your nose in there. And finally, Punk comes out, and we get the favor. I'm skipping a lot of this. SmackDown is 3 hours. They just let everyone walk out and have these long-ass ring walk entrances that you got to forward through. But overall, I thought this was a pretty good SmackDown. compared to other SmackDowns. And the favor was that he wants Paul Heyman to be in his corner instead of Roman's. And Roman was like laughing at him because he's like, well, even if I let Paul Heyman do that, he wouldn't do it. And that's when he catches Heyman crying. He's like, are you are you crying? And this was like, he had real tears coming out of his eyes. How did he do this? He has to win an Emmy. If anyone has to win an Emmy, it's Paul Heyman. So then Roman started getting upset. He's like, dude, I brought you out of mediocrity. I kept you relevant, making some good points. But he is just like, I can't. I'm sorry. I can't tell you that I'm picking Punk. So he picks Punk, and then Punk kicks Roman's ass, puts him in the go to sleep, and stares down with Seth to end the show. That's a quick summary of how it happened. But Paul Heyman has to come down to the ring with CM Punk now. All right, so the favor. That was the favor. What an obvious favor. How come we didn't think of this? Okay. I should have thought of that already. But I already gave the ratings on this. So, Robert, you go first. You love this. I liked it even more than you did, but you go ahead.
Well, okay, just a comment on what you said about Paul Heyman conjuring up tears. That's exactly why a few weeks ago I gave a lot of props to Bianca Belair and Naomi when they had their little exchange. There were tears there too, especially on Naomi's side. That's they did that and live in front of a large audience. Like, to be able to pull that off is not easy. So kudos to them, and this week, kudos to Paul Heyman for doing the same. This is really good acting. All right, so yes, I did not predict that. That's what the favorite was going to be. I had no idea what it was, but I didn't think it was going to be that. I also thought it was really hilarious when the fans were chanting, "What's the favor? What's the favor?" I was laughing when I heard that. That was hilarious. Yeah, I mean, this is good stuff. Like, this is actually intriguing. So I love to see how it plays out for the remainder of the road to WrestleMania and WrestleMania itself.
It is intriguing. It would kind of be better if Seth wasn't involved in this, but okay.
I know in this segment, he feels like a third wheel here.
Yeah,
this segment,
I would like to see Roman versus Punk with Heyman in the middle, but then there's Seth. But okay, Vlad, your thoughts on this?
Well, you as you said, I think we should have guessed this. It seems so obvious, and it really doesn't seem like a big deal either. Like, okay, he wants Paul Heyman to be in his corner instead of Roman's. It's not like Paul really helps his guys usually win anyways. So, okay, it's not, to me, it doesn't seem like a big deal. But what really sold it for me is obviously Paul Heyman's acting. And I think prior to the beginning of the show, Punk and Heyman had that opening segment where they talked about their history, how much Heyman means to Punk's career and all that stuff. So, when you combine all of that stuff, it becomes a really emotional kind of moment for both of them. And when you add the fact that he wants him in his corner, it makes more sense. And then you have Roman, who was like, what the hell? What's going on? You're going to choose to be in his corner? You're going to stick to this ridiculous favor? And it looked like he was going to get physical with Paul, right? And then that's when Punk attacked him. There's a couple of things that it's a simple idea, but these guys kind of made it into a really great segment, and that's why I gave it 2 thumbs up. Paul always Paul is such a guy with the tears and the facials that he does. It's really incredible. It's a tremendous talent that he has to do that, because you're just looking at him, and even though he's crying, I was laughing. When they turned to him and they showed the tears coming from his eyes, I laughed so hard, honestly.
The audience laughed. When Roman said, "Are you crying?" The audience burst like, "The fuck?" He's like, "You better wipe your tears off and let this guy down easy."
Yeah, but it was also because he does the whole thing where he's shaking and he does an amazing job when he's when all this craziness is going on around him, right? So this was a really good segment, and I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it.
Does this mean his relationship with Roman is over? This kind of reminded me of when he wouldn't acknowledge Solo, and he didn't. He was apprehensive to do that because he thought he would get his ass kicked. But well, that's two different points. But
yeah,
do you see this being the end of his thing with Roman?
I hope not. It's been obviously an unbelievable run for both of those guys together. But if maybe it is time to move on in a sense. Like maybe it's time for him to work with Punk instead, or I don't know. I could see going either way.
Roman can't really get too mad at him because he does owe him this favor. So what can he do?
True.
Shit. All right, Robert, did you comment on this yet?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, let me move on then. Let's go on to the Rey Fenix debut, which I thought was kind of cool. I know you guys emphasized the Nathan Frazier botch, but I didn't think it mattered that much. I still think Nathan Frazier was the right guy for him to face on his debut because it made him look...
Let's just say he's no Chad Gable, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, but for Rey Fenix's style, yeah, it was kind of more like they chose a guy who does Rey Fenix's style and just let them kind of go like AEW style and just do all their shit, get all your shit in type of shit. But it was still nice to see Fenix. Okay, so I'm giving this a rating based on just like it's a WWE debut and it looked cool. His theme song was really cool. The way he came out was really cool, but very similar to Penta though. The way he did the post-match interview.
Yeah.
So, half a thumbs up from Vlad and Robert. So they only kind of liked it. Couldn't give it a whole thumbs up. I gave it a whole thumbs up today for Rey Fenix debut. All right, I'll start with well, hold on. I got the botch.
Oh, well, you said it wasn't. We weren't going to focus on it, but now you want to show it to us.
I go with Nathan Frazier. Poor Nathan Frazier. Me and Robert actually do watch NXT. We review NXT in detail.
I don't know anything about this guy. This is basically
he's the NXT. He's one half.
This is my first time looking at.
Yeah.
This is my first time looking at him, and I could see why he's in NXT and why he's probably going to stay there. Now, continue on.
He has a lot of speed. You got to admit, like some of the.
Well, that's a move. That's a move. I'm actually surprised most people don't get tripped up on the middle rope. Honestly,
yeah.
To be honest, it's such a hard thing to do to go through the ropes like that at full speed. But he bit it bad, dude. He tripped up and it was not good.
I know the poor guy. Okay. Rey Fenix tries to catch him too. Oh my god! But okay. Any thoughts on this? Who was going next? I'm sorry, I lost track of who I asked to talk. Who's talking?
Robert, you go ahead.
Okay, so all right, look, yes, I do watch NXT, so I do feel bad for Nathan Frazier. So for those people, for anybody who is watching this that don't watch NXT, this, what happened in this match is not indicative of what usually happens in NXT. I want to throw that out there.
For real, these guys sent them out there in a big spot on SmackDown to make Rey Fenix look good because they had confidence in him.
Right. Because they had confidence. There's a good reason why they had confidence in him. He's really good. So I just want to make sure that's very clear what happened in this match. That doesn't happen in NXT. It was just an accident. So I feel bad for him because I like him.
Can I ask? Oh no, I'll ask after Robert's done.
But yes, this was outside of that. This was a good debut for Rey Fenix, and I do appreciate the fact that he didn't take forever in his post match promo like Penta did in his Raw debut. I was like, please don't take forever, and he didn't.
I understood nothing from that promo.
Oh yeah, zero. He did say he's in the best wrestling company in the world. Now that part I did hear.
Yes, okay. All right then. No, I'm gonna move on from this unless anyone has.
Can I just ask one quick thing on the Nathan Frazier thing? Since I don't know the guy, so is he kind of a lucha wrestler because he wrestled completely in the lucha style?
His tag team partner is a luchador. Remember remember, I think Gunther faced somebody named Axiom in
my god! Yeah,
that's his tag partner.
Oh my god! Okay, enough said. Let's move on.
They're good for what they do, though. For what they do, they're usually pretty good at it. So that was an unusual botch on the big stage. But whatever. Yeah. Okay, moving along. The other promo battle. Tiffany and Charlotte promo battle in the middle of the ring. Storyline number 6.
This was a disaster of epic proportions. I loved it. I think I gave it a thumbs up because I loved the disaster of it.
Oh, really?
Kaon gave it a heart. Oh my god, he loved it even more than I did. I just gave it a thumbs up to be respectful.
I don't know. I'm kind of in a bubble here because I don't understand what's going on with what you guys are saying. Because I thought it was really great, especially for Tiffany. It made.
Oh, yeah, it was great for Tiffany.
It was awful for Charlotte.
Yeah, it was awful for Charlotte.
Wasn't that the point of this, or
no? I don't think it was scripted to play out the way that it did. I really don't think so.
Something is not right with these two at all. Like either they work themselves into a shoot, or they really just don't like each other in real life. Something is off in this whole thing from the beginning. It hasn't gone very smoothly, especially when they have to cut promos.
All right. I mean, I didn't get that thought at all. Okay, so I mean, I think Tiffany hit Charlotte with some zingers, right? The Ric Flair thing, you'll never be as famous as your father, your daddy, or whatever. And the crowd really popped for that one. And there was a couple that she was making sense on, like, what were you doing when you were 25? Here I am main eventing WrestleMania with the title. You got a late start. What is she going to accomplish? I mean, I think they sent Charlotte out there to make Tiffany look good because she should.
No. Okay, like Charlotte, I don't know what she was scripted to say, but it clearly didn't come out because she got easily flustered by the crowd. It was very obvious that she got flustered by the crowd, and she couldn't get it together. She couldn't control the crowd. I mean, we're talking about the daughter of Ric Flair, man. Come on, like you got to be able to handle the crowd. Like if you're the heel, right, you should expect boos, and you should be able to not only anticipate it, but work your way around it. And she wasn't able to do that. It was a complete disaster, at least for Charlotte. And I don't think it was meant to look that bad for her.
Interesting. I mean, I think she kind of gave up on it easily, but I think there's nothing wrong with having Tiffany the one that goes over here because she hasn't looked good so far, and they need to make her look good because she's important. I mean, she's going to be a star for them for a long time. So this was really important that she got over here on this. Finally. I don't know. I thought it was very more important for her to get over. Charlotte will be fine. So I don't see this as a big deal that Charlotte didn't get over on this one. So
yeah, I mean, it's not about who got over. It's how it played out.
Okay.
I don't think it played out the way it was scripted to. Is what I'm saying.
I think it turned out better than it should have then, but better than it was supposed to. Because I think this is perfect. Tiffany's the person that needed to go over here really badly, and she looked great. She looked fantastic.
Okay, and let me ask this: how does it help this feud for Tiffany? For Tiffany to say something about that she's 0 for 3 in relationships or marriages, and then just ducking right out of the ring. To me, I mean, either they're trying to make us think that this is a work, which I don't think because they're not really that good at it. I don't think Tiffany could pull it off. I think, or they're actually trying to kind of shoot on each other somewhat. And that's more believable, but this was a disaster. And then as Tiffany's leaving, she mentioned Kaiser trying to get into her DMs. It was a ridiculous thing to say because no one would believe that. I'm sorry. No one would believe that it would even be possible that somebody would choose Charlotte over Tiffany. I'm sorry, I just don't see that.
Yeah, that line made me cringe. I was like, man, that's bad. That's really bad.
It was a disastrous segment on every level, but I did love the theater of it, and that they actually aired it, and it seemed like they aired it without editing any portion of it. It's unbelievable. This, if any segment should have been edited, it was this one. But maybe this is really the best they could actually show to the crowd. But yeah, I mean, I did hear that there was a lot of talk when they had, because we didn't cover this, and I really didn't watch it that carefully. But when they had that not face to face, but when they had like that split screen promo a few weeks back on SmackDown, there was a lot of talk about like how Charlotte was trying to like make Tiffany look bad during that promo, and
exactly.
I didn't really and purposefully doing so. And now they're saying they went off script here. Again, this could just be a whole bunch of noise, and maybe they're trying to make us think that. The reason I don't think so is because it didn't really help. It wouldn't help the angle for them to be doing this at all, just talking shit like that to each other. It seems like there may be some legitimate something here, but I don't know. I mean, obviously, only they know, and only the company knows, and only these two females know, but it doesn't really make me think that they're going to have this amazing match now. But I am curious at the end result, like who goes over. I mean, I assume it's going to be Tiffany, but we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm not an insider. I'm just
me neither.
guessing. I'm just guessing, and I have this feeling that I think they sent Charlotte out there to help Tiffany here because Tiffany needed it more.
Well, the reason that kind of makes sense, I don't think that's the case, but the reason it does make sense, and it's one of Robert's points he made, like, why did Charlotte look so bad on the mic? Why couldn't she handle the crowd? I mean, I kind of have to agree, like, why couldn't she? Like, she's been booed plenty of times in her career. It's weird that she couldn't come up with.
I think they instructed her to say, "Look, you got to go out there and help this girl. You keep burying her, and that's not good for this whole thing."
So you think they told her to go out there and bomb completely?
Yes.
Like, look flustered yourself. Look flustered yourself.
I could believe that. I could believe that, but it's just a guess. That's my guess because
we're all guessing.
I can't see them letting them go up there and shoot on each other. That's more believable than me just like saying, "Oh, they just went off script and now they're shooting." Like, I don't think so. I think this is all very scripted. I think they sent her up there with those zingers, the Ric Flair zingers, and everything else.
The Ric Flair zingers, maybe for sure. That one's been said plenty of times to her about her father, but. The fact that she just recently got divorced, I think that was a low blow that I don't think made any sense at all within the feud. So I don't know. I don't know, man. We'll see.
All right, interesting conversation. That's why I thought I'd bring it up, I guess. So let's see how it turns out. I also think Tiffany's going over, but okay. I think that'll conclude our WWE talk for the day and our AEW talk. So this week in WWE and AEW. NXT, we're not gonna really review on this show. The link to me and Robert's review is in the description. Our blog posts, we gave thumbs up, thumbs down for every storyline there.
Can I just ask real quick, your guys' favorite show is still NXT, right? That's still your guys' show. That's
Man, it was going really hot up until this Dark State thing came up, which it's kind of in limbo right now, but it was going so well.
I mean, outside of the Dark State stuff, I still think it's really good.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Totally. I mean, but they had a flow for like a month where I was like, damn, this shit is like rocking on all cylinders. But and then Evolve and Impact, I haven't watched yet. I'm gonna get to that later in the week, so I'll try to do that before Tuesday, just so you guys know, for completeness sake, if anyone's interested in my reviews of those shows. But let's get to our retro stuff. So we got maybe 20-30 minutes or something. Let's continue on our Odyssey. We're finally at October 21st, 1996, WWF Raw. This is one that they've been fucking building towards for a while. There's a couple things that have been building up till this show, which we'll get to in a second. But before I get to that, I just want to say, for anyone who's just joining us and doesn't know, that we've been reviewing WWF from 96 post SummerSlam. There's a link to the playlist in the description. But we also have done WCW from this exact period.
No, I remember
currently. So we've done this exact day, October 21st, 1995. So this is what WWF is going up against. So I think for our little review here that we're doing for the little 1 hour Raw, it's important to note that Macho Man is feuding with Hollywood Hogan and has threatened to murder him ahead of their match, Halloween Havoc. I think this was the go-home show for Halloween Havoc. So stiff competition they're going. And this is also Sting's debut in the white face paint. So his debut of his new gimmick with his little whatever emo depressed persona that becomes such a big giant storyline. This is literally the launching pad of that. But we're doing the other side. So WWF is not doing as well as WCW is. Hogan turned heel. Everything is rocking on all cylinders. WWF are kind of got some things going on, but not really. As we've discussed recently, they kind of been struggling with certain storylines. So I'm going to jump to some clips for you guys today. I did make a note, tell you guys that we didn't really have to. You didn't really have to prepare or anything to watch this show. We could just jump in and I'll show you a couple clips because this is a very short show, 1 hour long. And there's only a couple things that I want you to see. So I'll start with storyline number 1. So they've been advertising the return of Bret Hart, right, for weeks, and finally JR has landed the return of Bret Hart, and here he is. Well, that's Tiffany Stratton. Sorry about that. Hold on 1 second.
It's Tiffy time.
Yes, sorry about that. Sorry.
Somewhere Charlotte is going crazy.
All right. So here's JR, and here he is. Bret Hart. Vlad, he's here. Can you believe it? For weeks. Is Bret Hart coming back? Is he going to retire? Oh, my God. So here's a fan. Here's a Hitman Hart fan. And I'm not going to play this promo, Robert, because it's really freaking long. It's so long. They let him talk forever. They would have been whatting him in this generation, right? And the way he was talking, very slow. Like, people were interested. People wanted to know what he was going to say. Was he going to retire or whatever? So I have a text file here with some of the points he was making. Vlad, I don't know if you watched this today or did you? You did?
Well,
okay, interesting.
I did.
All right. So he said he got an offer from WCW, but he wants to stay in WWF, right? That's one thing that he talked about. He talked about Shawn Michaels, who I guess you might know more about this than I do, is the last loss Bret had before he left, right? So I guess he took a loss from Shawn and then disappeared, and we've been waiting to see if he'll retire or not after that, right? So, okay. So he talked about Shawn, said he still thinks he's better than him and all that. And then Stone Cold. Okay. I think this is the part where I'm going to start playing from, where he's going to talk about Stone Cold. Well, here's Stone Cold watching in the back. The WWF locker room is watching in the back. So this is a big momentous occasion. Actually, here's the first appearance that I see of The Rock, Rocky Maivia, just hanging out in the back. There he is on the left right there. You see him? I haven't seen him before this. This is the first Raw appearance, I say. So, and here's Vince McMahon, also happy that Bret isn't going to retire, from what he says. And then here's when he mentions Stone Cold, because we've been following this whole thing where Stone Cold's been running him down for weeks. So here's finally...
I think Richard Nixon said it best. You learn from defeat, and you come back and you beat him the next time. Which is why I've decided to accept the challenge of the best wrestler in the WWF today, and in the Survivor Series, I will face Stone Cold Steve Austin. I might be a little rusty, and maybe I won't be. But Steve Austin, I want you to know one thing. Madison Square Garden, it's not a church, but it's holy ground. And Steve Austin, Stone Cold, we'll see who kicks whose ass in Madison Square Garden.
Oh. There you go. So he immediately comes back and says, I'm going to accept the offer of who he thinks is the best wrestler in the world, Stone Cold. Damn. thoughts on how that went down, Vlad? Well, there's a little bit more to the promo, but I'll talk about that in a second. But thoughts about the Stone Cold stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard Bret say before that when he was coming back in '96, he wanted to work with Steve Austin, who he thought was a tremendous in-ring performer, basically the best. Well, outside of Shawn Michaels, who, outside of Shawn Michaels, I think he thought Steve Austin was the best in-ring performer. So yeah, he wanted to work with them. He had interest. I think their styles mesh completely, and he knew that he was having an incredible match with them. And yeah, that's really what it came down to. And as far as him coming back and all that stuff, the promo that he cut, it was long, and they let him just talk, as you said. Bret is not one of the great promos in wrestling, so he really, his point, they could have cut this down, honestly. They could have told them, but I think they just felt so glad that he was coming back and didn't go to WCW. They're like, sure, Bret, you want 20 minutes? Take 20 minutes, man.
It seemed like 20 minutes, but it was 13 minutes, Robert, from what I've read. Okay. Somebody clocked this long-ass promo. Yeah, no, after he accepted the Stone Cold challenge, he talked for a while after that. He had like a story about his nephew dying of cancer. Yeah. And how if he promised his nephew if he would battle through it, that he would come back and wrestle again, but his nephew died anyways, but he still wants to come back and be like a hero to the kids. Oh my God, it was so long. I don't know. But okay. Whatever. It ate up a big chunk of the show. That's good for us. So we didn't have much to review today. But okay, Robert, your thoughts on how he just came back and immediately just answered the big elephant in the room, which was Stone Cold fucking running his ass down this whole time.
All right. Well, even in this short clip, he still said a lot more than Charlotte Flair said in SmackDown. I'm just kidding. No, that was good. I mean, that's what we wanted him to say, that he would end up facing Stone Cold. So cool. I mean, you already gave a summary of what else he said, but that's what the main thing I wanted to hear from him was, addressing the Stone Cold challenge. Yeah, then Stone Cold in the back watching, and he saw it as it happened. He didn't actually go out there though, but he was attentively watching. So, good stuff. Good stuff. I'll give it a thumbs up, Vlad. Even though it was kind of long and boring promo, I'll still give it a thumbs up. But do you want to give that promo a rating, since you said you saw it today, the whole thing?
Yeah. I didn't rate this show, right? Or I didn't send a rating.
No, yeah, you didn't. You didn't. So I could add it for you, or take it right here.
The whole promo, I would give it a half thumbs up. Probably.
Half thumbs up. All right, moving along. I'll gloss over a couple other storylines because we have a main storyline which is supposed to be Triple H and Mr. Perfect that we've been waiting to get to. But I'll just mention, for completeness sake, the two other angles. There was only two other angles, Robert, on this whole show. And that other angle, one of them is the Psycho Sid thing, where he's hold on, let me pull this up on the screen for the people to see. So he's in a feud, I guess, where he's going to face Shawn Michaels for Survivor Series for the world title. So he's going to face today Owen Hart. So this was before Bret made his big speech. So they opened the show with Bret's brother coming out. So they were trying to kind of hint at that, I guess, tease that a little bit in a way. But okay, so Owen couldn't really put up a fight here. British Bulldog came up to interfere, and I think once they saw that Owen was going to lose, once he looked like he was going to get powerbombed, Bulldog just came in and ruined the match, just ransacked the match, DQ. A lot of finishes like this back in the days. It used to be more embarrassing. It's more embarrassing now, I think, to just attack someone in front of the ref. But okay, they called for the DQ, and then Shawn Michaels comes out to fight with Sid. So Shawn Michaels runs out there, and I think they clean house. They send the Bulldog and Owen Hart running, and then Sid and Shawn Michaels, they seem to be friendly, right? Even though they're going to face each other for that WWF title, they kind of got a friendly relationship where they kind of watch each other's back, it seems, in a couple of recent angles. So, okay, I don't know how I feel about that. Just good guy. This is like a good guy versus good guy matchup, right, Vlad? Good guy versus good guy rivalry for a world title, for a WWF title. So I don't know. You got any comments on that or no?
Well, I'll say that I think with Sid specifically, he was super over, and I think a lot of people were kind of, I think, sick of Shawn Michaels at this point, honestly, as a face. So, yeah, I mean, that's really all I have to say about that, and I think that really leads to what makes, what happens in Survivor Series, and, which we will cover at some point.
Yes. All right, so real quick. The only other thing that happened was really not very consequential, but I guess I'll just say that I like the finish of this Smoking Guns versus Godwins match where they just throw Bart Gunn into the ropes and he runs into his tag team partner. I don't know if I've ever really seen this, but I'll just play it real quick how it happened. This is the Godwins versus Smoking Guns.
Action for the Godwins if we're not careful. Here we go. Yeah.
and then that was it. Billy's out of the ring and Bart Gunn loses on his own. And then Billy Gunn is all disappointed. I don't know. I just thought they did that really well. I don't know why I've never seen that before, but I just thought it was funny how he just ran into it and Billy Gunn just like flies off the ring apron. I'll play it again.
Here we go. Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so this is going to lead to the dissolution of the Smoking Guns, who haven't been able to get it together, and so Billy Gunn's going to go off and do his own thing. It seems like they're going to break up. All right, so I'm going to move on to the last storyline of the day, and this is the last thing we're going to talk about today. It's the whole Mr. Perfect versus Triple H. Yes, so I am keeping the screen that the audience is seeing. The audience sees the result right here, but I'm keeping that away from Robert because I want to get his first time reaction to this. So here's a backstage where Mr. Perfect is getting ready for the match with Triple H. So he's stretching, and this is his big match. This is his big comeback match. So here he is stretching out in the back. I'm going to hit play. This is watch along mode.
He's been warming up right there. He is. Wait a minute. Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Look what he did. Helmsley. I can't believe this. Perfect. It's injured. Look at this. However, yet to come. I mean, there's in next.
All right. So, Robert, Triple H attacked Mr. Perfect in the back, and then this was before the Bret Hart interview, and then later in the night, the main event, Triple H is coming out for his match, and out comes Mr. Perfect, but he looks hurt, and here comes with Mark Miro and Sable, so I'll play this in-ring segment, and then I'll play one more clip after that.
Coming down with the Wild Man, Mark Miro, as well as Sable and Mr. Perfect. Gorilla Monsoon as well. I think Hunter Hearst Helmsley can handle all of them. Look at the look in the eyes of Mr. Perfect. Perfect seems to be hobbling just a bit. We can bet that when Hunter rammed that rolling case into, I guess, his knee, I'm sure it raised his ire somewhat. Mr. Perfect likely to take Hunter Hearst Helmsley apart. If he can. And the Wild Man Mark Miro credits much of his success to the advice given to him by his newfound friend. What's Monsoon getting in the ring for? I don't know, but Jim Ross here to get to the bottom of this. JR?
I'll handle this, big man. Let me take care of some business here. What's going on? What do you mean, what's going on? Everybody saw what you did, Helmsley. You think you pulled the big one off? You run the card into the back of my leg. Now I got Gorilla Monsoon out here talking to the doctors in the back, telling me I can't wrestle you tonight. You think you pulled it off?
Based on what the doctor has told me, I'm not allowing Mr. Perfect to wrestle here tonight.
Wait a minute.
Because he's a chicken.
You got no guts, Perfect?
I'm not allowing him to wrestle here tonight, period.
Then one of the presidents... I'll tell you what I've done, Helmsley. Mark Merrow, the stand-up kind of guy that he is, and the information that I gave him that brought him the Intercontinental Championship, the stand-up guy offered to wrestle you in my place.
Huh? Look, I don't have any contract to wrestle him. I'm under no obligation. I want him. I'm under no obligation to wrestle him, Monsoon.
That's right.
That's exactly correct. You are not obligated. Your contract to wrestle this gentleman. He is not wrestling here tonight, so you can leave if you like.
Wait a minute. You don't have the guts to wrestle Merrow? No, you'd wrestle him, right? No problem. Merrow will wrestle you.
I'll tell you what. The only way I'll wrestle him is if he puts that on the line. Put the Intercontinental title on the line and let's do it.
He'll do that in a heartbeat. I mean, what kind of champion are you? Show him what kind of champion. Of course he'll wrestle you. Wait, it's up to Gorilla Monsoon.
You know, Mr. Perfect, you helped me out to win the Intercontinental belt. I'm going to return the favor. Let's get it on!
Hell yeah, wow, man. That's a baby face right there.
You cannot sanction this match. Only I can sanction an Intercontinental title match.
Are you saying he can't wrestle?
I'm saying if he agrees to put the title on the line, and you agree to accept the match, I will officially make it.
If the belt's on the line, I agree.
The match is made. Let's do it.
Ah, yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Intercontinental title up for grabs. The Wild Man, Mark Merrow.
All right, so instead of Triple H versus Mr. Perfect, we get Triple H versus Mark Merrow with Sable for the Intercontinental Championship. Interesting. All right, so I'm going to skip forward into the match, Robert, and Mr. Perfect is on commentary, but I'm going to skip to the finish. So here we go.
Reversing. No, here we go. No, look out. Oh, no.
Ref bump. There goes the ref.
Oh, I got to go see it, Merrow. Come on, Merrow.
Robert's seen a lot of these ref bumps.
Yeah.
I'm not going to interfere.
I actually remember this.
You don't or you do?
I do.
Oh, you do. Okay.
Oh, he does remember this. Interesting. Well, let's just play it out anyways. Here comes Triple H with the steel chair. Sable, who I never see do anything. She's going to try to grab the steel chair from Triple H. And here comes Perfect, who takes it away from Triple H. Aiming it at Triple H. Why? Why, Perfect? Why? What did Mark Merrow do to you? And here goes Sable actually like doing some acting and worrying about her husband. It's the most I've seen her act. This is like my acting reel for Sable. It would be this, her highlight reel. Well, there you go. Pedigree. And Triple H wins. And Perfect is in there, and he's walking just fine, and he just helped Triple H win the title. So this whole thing about him stealing Triple H's girl, it was all a work the whole time to get people to think that they were not liking each other so they could win the Intercontinental title for Triple H, I guess. Okay, so my rating for this, I rated this because I watched it on my review. Says I got 2 thumbs down. This is a disaster. This is horrible, especially considering how hot WCW are, how perfect their booking was going into their Halloween Havoc pay-per-view, and then this is what they come out with after Buried Alive. No continuation of Undertaker Mankind. There was like a video package, but nothing really for a storyline. All right, let me see what I want to do with this. Robert, since this this was supposed to be a fresh watch, but while you're watching it, you said you got flashbacks to actually having seen it.
I remember this.
Okay, so what did you think of it? What do you think of it now that we've seen this whole story play out before our eyes?
That was a perfect heel turn.
Oh God.
No, I was kidding.
That's how we got.
I don't know if maybe I'd give it a 1 thumbs down. It just doesn't make sense. Like this whole build up to this segment was all a ruse to get Triple H the title. I don't know. It's a bit nonsensical, so I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more than I don't like it. I think this is disastrous compared to how well the storyline's going on the other channel, and they did this. And Vlad, you said when you first saw them, we reviewed the first angle where Perfect steals Triple H's girl, and you said, I watched this era, and I don't think this goes anywhere. Like, I remember that this doesn't, but it totally went somewhere. This was a total angle.
Halfway through, I did remember where it ended up. So
they completed the storyline, and this is where it ended up. So, all right, your thoughts as a wrestling analyst.
Well, there's a lot of things here that were really bad, obviously. One, I never really understood, because I don't know, I remember even as a kid watching this, why Perfect and Mark Mero had this they didn't have this mentor relationship. It was weird. As soon as Mero won the title, he was like, "Oh, I owe it all to Perfect." Like, where did I remember thinking, I've never seen them together before until he won the title. So how do you owe it to Perfect? Okay, that part never made sense to me. And then basically they've been wasting weeks, months of Perfect stealing these women, quote unquote, from Triple H.
And that was all bullshit. That was trying to make him look cool. I was like, man, this guy's perfect. These women just want to go with him. And that was all just a fucking ruse the whole time. Man,
and it was just a ruse to win IC title. I mean, it's kind of I know this was way before Russo I was looking, but it feels like a Vince Russo swerve type of deal where it just kind of comes out of nowhere and doesn't really make a lot of sense. That's what I got out of that. So yeah, I would give it probably either a 2 thumbs down or 1. I don't know what's really fair. I guess I would give it a 2 thumbs down. Honestly, yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was such a long swerve for such a stupid thing to win Triple H the title. Why don't you win yourself the title? Like, why are you helping Triple? Where does this friendship come from? I don't know. I guess maybe we'll find out in the next episode. But okay, Robert, did you give a rating on this? Sorry, I was listening.
I said 1 thumbs down.
Thumbs down. Thumbs down. All right then. Cool. That'll conclude our show for the day. You're all released. If you want to hang out with me while I mention my honorable mentions, I think Raw, Penta calling Bron Breakker stupid because he accidentally speared him. What are you, stupid?
Okay.
Drew McIntyre's eye patch. It's just fucking awesome. He got slammed onto the car. Well, he got slammed onto the car, windshield on his back. What does that have to do with his eye? But okay, I'm with.
He said he had the glass wind in his eye. It made a ton of sense.
Okay. I love it. I'm digging the whole thing with Damien. I even thought Damien's promo was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
This was sad. KO was actually really injured. We were talking about this on our review today, on our blog post. I actually got a thought later afterwards, thinking was this how they should have done this, or should they have tried to run an angle? Jay White broke his hand on AEW, but off camera they said Death Riders attacked him sometime in between the show, right?
No, that's stupid. That's dumb.
That's stupid. They can say Randy Orton showed up, or they couldn't do an angle where it wasn't that physical, where he could have took some kind of bump. Went away for a while.
They could have probably found a way to write him off, with actually showing him, I don't know, get jumped or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
they could have
Jade,
found a way to do it.
How did Jade get written off when she got attacked by Naomi? They just showed her lying on a car.
No, what I meant is the Jay White thing was stupid because they never showed it. That's what I meant. That's what. Well,
they never showed the Jade thing either. They just showed her.
At least they showed her, but
at least they showed her on top of the car.
They didn't show anything from Jay White.
Yeah.
I'm like, we have he was attacked by the Death Riders, but or Death to AEW or whatever that name of that group is. But but they never showed like they didn't have video of it, so it was kind of pointless to even mention. When they have something like that, when they say something like that and there's no video, it's kind of pointless. It's a stupid thing. That's what I meant by stupid. As far what if they could have done with Kevin Owens, yeah, I think they could have done something where Randy actually like injures him, and then cancels the match because he injured him so badly. You know, maybe. But if he's really in messed up shape where he can't really take any type of bumps, I don't know. I don't know how severe it was.
Maybe he's so severe that he's never fucking coming back, like the way they made this sound. So I don't know.
I mean, a neck surgery is not a little thing; it's a big thing. Anytime you have neck surgery, so I would assume it's not. I don't. He might not. I mean, hopefully. Hopefully he comes back. I'll just leave it at that.
Well, he takes a lot of really super serious bumps that me and you have kind of shamed wrestlers for doing lately, because we're just
the one at the Royal Rumble
with Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's like we enjoy wrestling, but I don't enjoy hearing about people getting hurt.
He wants that.
Like, just we want the storylines, we want the freaking promos. I don't need them falling on their head. You know what I mean? They can just throw a worked punch and it'll be just fine.
Well, and now of course he doesn't have this WrestleMania match that it was supposed to be it's a big match for anybody. I mean, it's a WrestleMania. It's a match at WrestleMania. So yeah, it sucks for him.
And this is a long-standing feud that stemmed from the bloodline and the feud with Cody. That
they have to put on hold or basically cancel. You know, so kind of.
I think it's canceled. They can't come back and hate each other again after this. I think it's over.
Yeah, I agree. Especially if he's going to be gone for a long time. So of course.
All right. One other thing I'll mention was I like the way Nick Aldis booked Naomi and Jade, where he's like, "I'm booking you guys for WrestleMania." You know, it was like so obvious, but it was like, "Yep, okay, there you go." Good stuff from them. I like Naomi. I think she's been doing well as a heel.
Oh, yeah.
And the last thing I got here is Ricky Saints with winning WWE North American Championship. I think quicker than Ethan Page did, from what I hear, Robert.
By 1 week, I think.
All right. Yeah, and then Ethan Page jumped him afterwards. So
so they have a feud going, or
well, they will. And then Ricky Saints won the title off of Sean Spears. So AEW.
Yeah. All these AEW people, huh?
Yeah, WWE can make good use of a lot of AEW people. Wait till they get Wardlow. So
okay, this is a great question. Seriously, they probably will get Wardlow. So wait, have you guys enjoyed how Ricky? I'm gonna call him Starks because Ricky Saints is a stupid name.
It's not a bad name. I can dig it.
Ricky Saints, come on. Okay, anyways, I'm not gonna go into that. But have you guys liked how he's been used in NXT so far?
Yes, he's been a little corny, right, Robert? Some of his jokes are like, a little bit corny. When he sees someone acting crazy, he's like, "Man, everyone's so crazy around here," you know. But something like that, you know. But it's okay. I think he's fine. He's fine. Yeah, he's had some really funny lines. He does his thing, and his work is good. So. Yeah. Nothing egregious, nothing terrible. At least we have very low standards now that we've seen AEW.
Correct.
But
correct.
No, but to give the guy a title, really, right out the gate, I think can never be a bad thing for Motor City Machine Guns. That was a good thing. Ethan Page winning the title off the bat was a good thing. Ricky Saints, so it gives them some clout, something to brag about. Moving forward, and yes, he's been good. So I like NXT. I like NXT, baby. All right, then. I think that's all we got for today's show. Let me see. One last thing I want to mention is next week is our WrestleMania preview predictions show. So then the week after that is WrestleMania. We're not going to do a show, and we're just going to watch WrestleMania and enjoy it and be fans. And then the week after, we'll do one last show. We'll review WrestleMania, and then that'll be it for us. For a little while, we've really, I've worked. I gotta admit, I've given my blood, sweat, and tears for this show at times. Where sometimes I'm pretty damn tired and I'd like to go to bed. But this show means a lot to me. It's a project that I really love wrestling. I gotta tell you. of all the things that I've really gotten into in my life, for some reason, something about wrestling speaks to me. And even when I'm watching someone struggling to cut a promo and they suck at it, like I still think it's interesting. And I really, you know, I adore this time I spend watching wrestling. But unfortunately, we have real life too. Sometimes you can't just be doing that. So we have to set our life straight and handle our business at times as well too. So it is tough to put on a weekly podcast, and I think sometimes we will have to take a break every so often so we could keep this going. So, all right, so that's our schedule for the next coming weeks. So enjoy us while you have us, and then we'll take our break, and that'll be that. So for Vlad, the wrestling expert, thank you. For Robert, the frozen Asian, thank you. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to read our blog posts with all our reviews. So that's there for you. All right, then. Until next week. That'll be it.
Turn on the lights, feel the beat. Pressing tails can't be beat. Join the crew, take your seat. Welcome to the wrestle heat. Now the first one, time to fly. Stories don't catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. The smark's always high. And this so we say, heroes rise till and sway. In the ring night and day, wrestling talk, come and stay. Now the birds fly, time to fly. Stories don't catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. The smark's always high. Crash and cheer, all the news you wanna hear. Wealth and fame always near. With the crew, have no fear. All the birds fly, time to fly. Stories don't catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. The smark's always high. Catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. The smark's always high.